Some jobs have absolutely zero room for error right from day one. So, how do you train someone for that? How do you teach them to pilot a massive supertanker through a hurricane or land a passenger plane after an engine fails? Well, today we're diving into the incredible technology that lets us practice for the impossible. So let's just start with a question that takes right to the heart of this whole challenge. Imagine for a second you are responsible for $1 billion ship, its cargo, and every person on board. Your first day can't possibly be the first time you face a real crisis. So how on earth do you get that mission-critical experience safely? We're not talking about your average 9 to 5 here. These are incredibly high-stakes professions. Careers where the learning curve is, well, it's basically a vertical wall. And even a small mistake can be catastrophic, not just in terms of money, but in human lives. I mean, think about it, right? You can't just toss the keys to a jumbo jet or the controls of a giant cargo ship to a total rookie and say, all right, have fun. Traditional on-the-job training is just way too risky. Plus, you can't just snap your fingers and summon a perfect storm or an engine failure when you need one for a training exercise. The real world is a pretty unpredictable and frankly inefficient teacher. So, what's the solution? How do you create a space where people can practice for the absolute worst-case scenarios, but without any of the real-world danger? The answer is you build a virtual world so convincing, so realistic, that you can actually feel the pressure, all thanks to some amazingly advanced technology. Let's stick with the high seas for a minute. The solution here is the Maritime Simulator. Now, this is not just some fancy computer program. It's a whole ecosystem designed to replicate every single aspect of being on a ship's bridge in any weather condition anywhere on the globe. It's become an absolutely foundational tool in modern maritime education. And when I say it's a whole ecosystem, I really mean it. We're not talking about one PC in the corner of a room. This is a full-blown, multi-room, high-tech setup where every single piece has a very specific job to do. Okay, so it all kicks off in the instructor room. Think of it like a mission control. From here, the trainer can cook up anything. A sudden squall, a critical mechanical failure, another ship appearing out of nowhere. Then you have the console bridge, which has the actual physical hardware, the same controls and navigation gear you'd find on a real ship. And it all comes together in the visual bridge room, which wraps the trainees in these huge panoramic screens, giving them a seamless view of the virtual ocean. It's these three parts working together that create this totally immersive, believable experience. So how real does it actually feel? Well, according to one maritime academy in Indonesia, their simulator is, and this is a direct quote, 90% close to the actual conditions on board a ship. 90%. That is incredible. And that level of realism is the whole point, right? That's what makes the training stick. It builds the muscle memory and the split-second decision-making skills that are going to translate directly to the real world when it counts. But, technology this complex and sophisticated doesn't just magically appear in a classroom. It takes some serious expertise to install it, integrate everything, and then customize it for what a school actually needs. And in Indonesia, one of the key players doing this work is PT Samar Education Solutions. Now, these guys aren't just selling boxes. They're IT and electrical integrators. They work with the best in the world, companies like 5Ks from Italy for the navigation simulators, and Unitest from Poland for the engine room side of things. Their job is to bring all that amazing tech to local academies and make it all work together perfectly. And this whole idea of using super realistic simulation for really complex training, it isn't just for sailors. It turns out the exact same logic applies when we go from the sea to the sky. So it makes perfect sense that the same company also integrates flight simulators. But the third system they build, that one might surprise you. It's complex administrative software for universities. At first, it seems like a totally random fit, right? But when you think about it, the core challenge is exactly the same, integrating really complicated systems to manage a massive amount of critical information. It doesn't matter if it's a virtual ship or an entire university student body. The tech itself is obviously super impressive. But so what? What's the real-world payoff? For a school that invests in one of these incredible simulators, what does it really unlock for them? And maybe more importantly, for their students? Well, this quote right here from the Bulawan Maritime Academy in Medan, it says everything. After they installed their new simulator, they obtained an approval certificate from the Directorate General of Sea Transportation. And believe me, getting that certificate, that is the ultimate game changer.
So what does that certificate actually do? Let me tell you, it is so much more than just a nice plaque to hang on the wall. It represents a fundamental upgrade in what that academy can do and what it represents.
Here's the path it opens up. Step 1. The Academy installs this world-class simulator. Step 2. That new facility gets the official stamp of approval from the government. And Step 3, and this is the big one, the Academy can now host the official Seafair Expertise exams, known as the UKP, right there on their own campus. Their students no longer have to go somewhere else to take their final official tests.
And that is the key takeaway here. What this technology does is it gives these institutions real autonomy. It empowers them to own the entire educational journey for their students, from day one training in a virtual typhoon all the way to the final certification exam, all under their own roof. It's a massive deal for their prestige and a huge, huge benefit for their students.
So, this all leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. We've seen how simulators can train sailors and pilots. As this technology keeps getting better, more powerful, and pretty soon almost indistinguishable from reality, what's the next impossible job we'll learn how to do? Surgeons? Firefighters? Disaster responders? What skills will we be able to master in a virtual world before we ever have to try them in the real one?